Coming up on 5 Minute News. Trump tells schools to reopen or lose federal funds. Key impeachment witness to retire from US military over intimidation. And China's great internet firewall descends on Hong Kong. It's Thursday, July 9. I'm Anthony Davis. Determined to reopen America's schools despite coronavirus worries, Donald Trump threatened yesterday to hold back federal money if school districts don't bring their students back in the fall. He complained that his own public health officials' safety guidelines are impractical and too expensive. For a nation that prides itself on its public school system, it's a newly extraordinary situation in this pandemic-ridden year. Elsewhere in the nation, many states continued to confront a resurgence of the virus, which has claimed more than 130,000 lives in the US. But safety obstacles in schools can be surmounted, Trump insisted, and reopening is important for the children and families. He tweeted, "May cut off funding if not open." Trump did not say what funding he would pull, but Mike Pence suggested at a coronavirus task force briefing that future COVID-19 relief bills could be tied to reopening schools as one way to give states a strong incentive and encouragement to get kids back in school. On Twitter, Trump argued, falsely, that countries including Germany, Denmark and Norway have reopened schools with no problems. In reality, German authorities are aiming for classes to resume in full, close to normal fashion after the summer vacation, having successfully reduced virus cases. Trump's Twitter warnings drew backlash from some governors who said he had no authority over schools' fall plans. New York Governor Andrew Cuomo said officials will reopen schools when it is safe to do so. School reopenings are a state decision, period, he said at a news conference. That is the law, and that is the way we are going to proceed. The president of the largest education union said Trump was more interested in scoring points for the November election than in keeping students safe. Trump has proven to be incapable of grasping that people are dying, that more than 130,000 Americans have already died, said Lily Eckelson Garcia, president of the National Education Association. Former White House aide Alexander Vindman, a key figure in the impeachment of Donald Trump, said he was retiring from the Army after what his attorney described as a campaign of bullying, intimidation, and retaliation by the president. Vindman, an Army lieutenant colonel who had been due for a promotion, provided some of the most damaging testimony during an investigation by the U.S. House of Representatives into Trump's dealings with Ukraine. Vindman confirmed his decision to retire and wrote on Twitter that he and his family look forward to the next chapter of our lives. Vindman, then the White House National Security Council's top Ukraine expert, testified in November that Trump's request for an investigation into Democratic former Vice President Joe Biden with Ukraine President Volodymyr Zelensky was improper. Trump has repeatedly complained about Vindman's testimony and called him insubordinate. Through a campaign of bullying, intimidation and retaliation, the President of the United States attempted to force Lieutenant Colonel Vindman to choose between adhering to the law or pleasing a president, the statement from Vindman's attorney said. In the letter, Vindman's attorney also alleged that Trump was forcing him to choose between protecting his promotion or the promotion of his fellow soldiers. These are choices that no one in the United States should confront, especially one who has dedicated his life to serving it, the letter said. Vindman, in his testimony before the House impeachment inquiry, at one point addressed his father, an immigrant from the former Soviet Union, telling him not to fear for him and commending his decision to come to the United States in search for a better life. "Do not worry. I will be fine for telling the truth," he said in his testimony. At midnight on Tuesday, the Great Firewall of China, the vast apparatus that limits the country's internet, appeared to descend on Hong Kong. Unveiling expanded police powers as part of a contentious new national security law, the Hong Kong government enabled police to censor online speech and force internet service providers to hand over user information and shut down platforms. Many residents, already anxious since the law took effect last week, rushed to erase their digital footprint of any signs of dissent or support for the last year of protests. Hong Kong is facing a dramatic decline of one of its most important advantages, a free and open internet, a defining trait that set it apart from mainland China, where Facebook, Twitter, Google, and most major foreign news sites are blocked. The prospect of Beijing-style internet controls, where residents are not just restricted but monitored and punished for what they post online, while companies are forced to censor their platforms, is worrying for citizens, activists, and businesses in Hong Kong. The social media platform TikTok, owned by the Chinese company ByteDance, said it was leaving Hong Kong altogether. You can subscribe to 5-Minute News on YouTube with your preferred podcast app. Ask your smart speaker or enable 5-Minute News as your Amazon Alexa flash briefing skill. Visit us online at 5minute.news. 5-Minute News is an independent production covering politics, inequality, health, and climate, delivering unbiased, verified, and truthful world news daily.